live. Thank you everybody for being here. Today, I'm normally not live around noon. I'm usually at work, but because I start my new position on Monday, I decided to take today and tomorrow off. So I wouldn't normally be live right now. I'd normally be at work because I start work around 11. But I start the new position as the marketing coordinator on Monday. So I took today and tomorrow off. So today we're going to do a continuation of what we were discussing on, what's today? Not yesterday's live, but Monday's live and Tuesday's live. So we're going to go back into the techniques of Greco-Egyptian magic by Dr. Stephen Skinner, which is a scholarly look at the Greek magical papyri and the magic within. But before we get into that, I want to say, so earlier this week, I think it was like either Sunday or Monday, when I was doing my daily devotional rituals. As I was going through the rituals, for some reason, it popped in my mind the chain of manifestation, or the path of return, if we're talking about Kabbalah. And I realized that my daily devotional rituals is literally a ritualization of the Hermetic chain of manifestation. And I've been doing the rituals in this specific format for about 4 or 5 months now, and I never put that together. Basically, I just divined how I was supposed to honor certain spirits, and they told me, and the order that they told me to do it in, that's just how I did it. I never, tried to look for any significance in it. But it wasn't until earlier this week that I realized that what I do each morning is a ritualization of the chain of manifestation. So essentially, what I do is I come here to the front of my altar here, and I'll invoke my ancestors, and I'll do the ritual and the ritual actions for that. And then after that, I'll honor my holy guardian angel. So I'll invoke him and do the ritual and ritual actions for that. Then after that, I'll honor the celestial spirits, and I do one for each day. So if it's a Monday, then it'd be the moon, Tuesday, Mars, Wednesday, Mercury, so on and so forth. And I recite the Orphic hymn for that, as well as do whatever ritual actions for that day are needed. And then after that, I then entreat and appease and invoke God. So the only two from the Hermetic chain of manifestation that are left out, and they're not left out on purpose because this wasn't done on purpose, is the fixed stars and the elements. So I'm going to try to figure, because I do have a grimoire from Hadean Press about the fixed stars. So I can do some research into that and see if there's any invocations and actions that I can add to my daily ritual to be able to add in the fixed stars. And then I guess I could work with some Golden Dawn text or something like that for the elements. So I found that very interesting. That what I do each morning sort of follows the chain of manifestation, with the exception of the elements and the fixed stars, because it wasn't done on purpose. This is just what my spirits told me to do, and I never tried to look for any sort of significance in it. And earlier this week, while I was performing them, it just popped in my head like, this is like the chain of manifestation, and it kind of is. So I just wanted to get that out there before we get started. So we're going to be back in Dr. Stephen Skinner's Techniques of Greco-Egyptian Magic from Golden Horde Press. Pretty thick book if you're not familiar with it. It's a scholarly take on, or a scholarly look at the magic within the Greek magical papyri, which is Hermetic. So I said that we were going to start today with dreams and scrying, but I decided to save that for a bit later. I want to focus on chapter 4, which is about sacrifice and spirit offerings, because I get a lot of questions about sacrifice. There we go. And how, and like some of the things that spirits might want or request during petitioning and contacting them. So Before we get started, let me take a look at the chat. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Witchcraft. Yes, witchcraft, 100%. You need some Christopher Hitchens. That name sounds familiar, but I don't think why does that name sound... Who is Christopher Hitchens? That name sounds familiar. Why does that name sound familiar? I don't know. But anyway, you work with low-level spirits. Well, how do you define low-level spirits? Because, I mean, technically any spirit under the fixed stars and under the spheres are low-level spirits, if we're talking hierarchy. I don't know how you mean low-level spirits. But I mean, I work with the major classifications of spirits: angels, demons, planetary spirits, planetary intelligences, the genius Loki, the elementals, the dead, the spherical spirits, the Olympic spirits. Dave, will Linda and I ever overcome disputes in our relationship? I don't know. Visit my website, link in bio, and purchase a reading, a 30-minute reading, and we can take a look. But we don't do that new age nonsense speed readings here. No, thank you. No, thank you. Is this tarot reading? No. We're not doing a tarot reading. We are discussing, we're going to be taking a look at the Greek magical papyri through the techniques of Greco-Egyptian magic by Dr. Stephen Skinner. We're going to be focusing on chapter 4, which is about sacrifice and spirit offerings. I just wanted to take a look at the chat before we got started. But it looks like that's the last question, is this tarot reading. So we can go ahead and get started. So this is chapter 4, 4.6 to be exact. If you have the book, either PDF or physical, you can turn to page 111. And that is where we will be starting about sacrifice and spirit offerings. So it states, sacrifice is part of the compact made between the magician and a spiritual creature. The idea of making a pact which required the magician's soul as part of the bargain is not found anywhere in the PGM, but seems to solely be part of the fictional Faust tradition. So right there, because in grimoire tradition, our source texts are the Greek magical papyri, Hermetica, things like that. That's what a lot of Grimtrad is based on, because most of Grimtrad comes from the 1500s, whereas the Greek magical papyri is centuries and centuries and centuries older than that. So we can see, first and foremost, that working with a spirit, making spirit offerings, and making sacrifice has nothing to do with giving over your soul. That's not coming from me. That's not coming from some TikTok video, some YouTube video, some Instagram video. That's coming directly from a scholar practitioner. Dr. Stephen Skinner, Google his name. He is well regarded in both the academic community and our practitioner community. I don't know of any book that Dr. Stephen Skinner has produced that any practitioner would disagree with. So he does his research, and not only that, he's a practitioner, so he has the practical experience, not just the theoretical knowledge, which most academics have. So we can see directly from the Greek magical papyri, there is no selling or bargaining of one's soul when dealing with any kind of spirit, when it comes to offering sacrifices or spirit offerings. However, reference is often made to offerings made to the spirits, usually in the form of incense, sometimes as food, and less commonly in the form of a sacrificed animal. So even back in ancient Egypt, because there's this notion that our ancestors, that these ancient peoples were constantly sacrificing animals. While animal sacrifice was certainly practiced, we cannot deny that, and it is practiced up to today, it wasn't every single time you're trying to petition the gods, every time you want to talk to the gods or to the spirits, you have to slit a goat's throat or something along those lines. That was more reserved for high magic, for Thurgi, for sort of initiatic rites and things where it's just the priest and the deity, and they're trying to have a theological discourse more so than just doing something for the people, trying to bring good rain for the crops this season, or so and so is sick, or so and so is trying to have a baby, and so you do something for that. You wouldn't have done animal sacrifice for that. That was extremely uncommon for mundane tasks. That was more of a Thurgi high magic type of a thing. And we can see that right from the Greek magical papyri. Sacrifice was also an integral part of Second Temple Jewish religion and a common part of Roman pagan religion, as well as Greco-Egyptian magic. Solomon was famous for the quantity of oxen and other animals he sacrificed for Yahweh at the inauguration of his temple. So right there, Solomon did sacrifice animals, but it wasn't just for some mundane thing. It wasn't just for, let me try to find my 800th wife, so let me sacrifice a bunch of animals. It was to consecrate his temple that he built with the, supposedly, if you believe the legends of grimoire tradition, with the help of the demons that he bound within the brass vessel. So we can see, even from a Jewish Solomonic point of view, it still wasn't a common thing to sacrifice animals for any old purpose. It was for some high magic, high thurgic sort of operation. Let's see here. It says 20,000 oxen and 120,000 sheep, a prodigious number for those days. Although Jewish sacrifice on a large scale ceased with the destruction of Herod's second temple in 70 CE, examples of sacrifice, especially of doves, persist in Jewish magical texts at least into the 15th century CE. In one of King Pittes's, and we should remember him from our previous lives where we were reading from here, in one of King Pittes's necromantic rites, a sacrifice is offered to a spiritual creature, in this case a daemon, not a demon, a daemon, as a payment for a successful conclusion of the unnamed objective of the rite. And I should make it clear here, there's this notion that, the word demon comes from daemon, and that is true, and that the word daemon in Greek just means spirit. And that's true if you're trying to explain something quickly to somebody, right? And you guys know me, I don't do that. We got to dig deep. We got to be nuanced here. If you want to get nuanced with it, daemon does refer to a specific kind of spirit. It's not just in general any kind of spirit. Daemon was not the Greek just general word for spirit. A daemon in Greek culture did refer to a specific kind of spirit. Usually that spirit dealt with wealth bringing or treasure hunting or money or something along those lines. And sometimes it was thought of as a genius loci. I don't agree with that, because there's no genius lokis that are pure genius lokis that would deal with any sort of finances, but more akin to maybe an elemental. So I want to make that clear, because it says that a sacrifice is offered to a spiritual creature, in this case a daemon, but it doesn't make clear what daemon. And if you just go with the basic definition of a daemon, spirit, it just says in this case a spirit. So it's not really clear on what kind of spirit King Pittis was trying to contact. But if it was a daemon, most likely he was going after some sort of economic goal, a financial goal. So I wanted to make that clear. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? In this case, a daemon as a payment for a successful conclusion of the unnamed objective of the rite. And this is what it says. Fulfill, daemon, what is written here, and after you have performed it, I will pay you a sacrifice. But if you delay, I will inflict chastisements which you cannot endure. This is almost an exact copy and paste of what we do in grimoire tradition on when we contact the spirit, which is why I always say I treat the spirits as mercenaries, because we don't try to develop a friendship with them. You call them, you work out an arrangement, you work out a payment, they do the work, you pay them, it's done. And that's exactly what the Greek magical papyri says to do. Fulfill, daemon, what is written here, and after you have performed it, I will pay you a sacrifice. But if you delay, I will inflict on you chastisements which you cannot endure. In grimoire tradition, if the spirit becomes unruly, or if the spirit agrees to do whatever work and then ends up not doing it, you are within your spiritual rights to hurt or harm the spirit, obviously not physically, using things like the conjuration of the fire, burning their sigil within the flames of a candle, or if you have I forgot what it's called, but there's like a little mini sort of a bonfire that certain practitioners will use in order to place incense and things on top of it in a brazier, so that way it'll give off whatever sweet smell the spirit likes. And also through the curses. And we get that directly from the Greek magical papyri. So we can see with that, we can see a continuation of tradition. It's not something that Solomon or that the grimoire authors made up. As I've always said, if you study legitimate occultism, not this new age, meditate and you can talk to any spirit you want type nonsense, but if you study legitimate occultism, legitimate esotericism, you'll find the perennial connections that almost all systems follow. And they all go back to shamanism and then branch off from there. And when it comes to grimoire tradition, most of it comes from the Greek magical papyri and its associated texts and beliefs. Where did I leave off? Okay, right there. So sacrifice is therefore distinctly a form of spirit bribery. Another reason why I treat spirits as mercenaries, because they're not our friends. You don't bribe your friends. I mean, in a real way, you don't bribe your friends. Sure, you might try to coax them to do things they might not want to do, so you can get something or have fun or whatever, but you really don't bribe your friends, like the real meaning of bribery. You don't do that with your friends, or else you're not their friend. So yeah, mercenaries. Sacrifice is specifically instructed in a general purpose rite, but the first application for which sacrifice is recommended is to attract a lover. Excuse me. After saying these things, sacrifice, then raise loud groans and then go backwards as you descend, and she will come at once. But pay attention to the arrival of the one being attracted so that you may open the door for her, otherwise the spell will fail. The classical Greeks offered sacrifice to the chthonic gods via a pit in the earth, usually accompanied by libations of wine poured into the pit. So this is where we can see modern day witchcraft. Everything from Wicca on up to tradcraft. They still do something called, well, the Wiccans call it cakes and ale, but every other tradition would recognize it as libations, where they do cakes and wine or cakes and ale. They'll have cookies and bread and cakes and stuff like that, and they'll pour it out on the ground, or if they have a special receptacle or whatever that they poured into to offer to their deities and to their spirits. Again, we can see the continuation of tradition. Unlike the New Age, most of legitimate occultism can be traced back somewhere, and it continues to go back. The New Age did not exist before like the mid 1800s, early 1900s. So made up just from the jump. But anyway, similar procedures are also found in the Greek magical papyri. For example, in the following case, to aid in the consecration of a magic ring. And the instructions are: making a pit in a holy place open to the sky, or if you have none, in a clean and sanctified tomb looking towards the east, and making over a pit an altar of wood from fruit trees. Sacrifice an unblemished goose and 3 roosters and 3 pigeons. Make these whole burnt offerings and burn with the birds all sorts of incense. Then, standing by the pit, look to the east and pouring on a libation of wine, honey, milk, and saffron, and holding it over the smoke while you pray the ring or stone in which the engraved inscriptions lie. So, that ritual is reminiscent of most rituals within Western esotericism, Western ceremonial magic, on how we consecrate things. Consecration by fire or through smoke. Now, the sacrifice, not so much, but the holding a ring or a stone or a layman or whatever and wafting it through the smoke, or holding it over and passing it through the fire in order to have whatever spirits are engraved on it bless it, is a extremely common form of sanctification or blessing or cleansing of objects and items to consecrate them to a specific purpose. And in this case, it would be for whatever purpose the was inscribed on the ring. Let's see. Sacrifice also has its place in the consecration of an iron lamella. It says, "Go, I say, into a clean room, set up a table on which you are to place a clean linen cloth and flowers of the season. Then sacrifice a white cock, place beside it 7 cakes, 7 wafers, 7 lamps." Lamps are candles with that little glass thing over it, not an actual lamp. "Pour a libation of milk and honey, wine and olive oil." And then it says, "A more detailed account of a sacrifice is to be found in an auto-initiation rite." So this ritual would be to initiate you into whatever mysteries, I'm going to assume, since this is the Greek magical papyri, it would be either Greek or Egyptian mysteries, into which you would then place your service. It states, "Keep yourself pure for 7 days beforehand." This is found all throughout grimoire tradition, all throughout Western esotericism, purification, purity. Modern day practitioners probably wouldn't keep themselves pure for 7 days, meaning, you know, abstaining from sex, abstaining from smoking and drinking and things like that, only having like bread and water and stuff like that. Most modern day practitioners wouldn't do that. Most people would probably just anoint themselves with like holy water or something like that. But according to the text, you would have to keep yourself pure for 7 days beforehand. On the 3rd of the month, go to a place from which the Nile has recently receded, before anyone walks on that area that was flooded, or at any rate to a place that has been inundated by the Nile. On 2 bricks standing on their sides, build a fire with olive wood. When half of the sun is above the horizon, but before the sun fully appears, dig a trench around the altar. When the disk of the sun is fully above the horizon, cut the head of an unblemished solid white cock, throw the head into the river and drink up the blood, draining it into your right hand and putting what is left of the body on the burning altar. And that would then allow the god to appear and initiate you into whatever mysteries you were being initiated into. And then it goes on to say that sacrifice also appears amongst the compulsive formula designed to force a god or a spirit to manifest if they have been dilatory. So this is probably the only instance that I have come across of a culture forcing a deity, not just a spirit, but a deity to appear. Most cultures were reverent of their deities, and if the deity did not want to appear, then so be it. This is one of the first times that I've come across a culture forcing a god, a deity, to appear. It states, take a completely white cock and a prince cone, pour wine upon it, anoint yourself, and remain praying until the sacrifice is extinguished. Then rub yourself all over with the following mixture: laurel bayberries, Ethiopian cumin, nightshade, and Hermes' finger. And this can be found in the Greek Magical Papyri, Book 2, 74 through 76. And then it says, the white cock, but not the pine cone, survives as a magician's sacrifice through to the late European grimoires. And that is true. A lot of grimoires, if they do contain sacrifice, it's usually a white, or not white, but usually a rooster, a hen, a pig. I've seen a snake one time, and pigeons is usually what is required from the grimoires. So that is a little bit about sacrifice in the Hermetic way of things. I wanted to talk about that before we moved into what I said we were going to go over today, which is the dreaming and the evocationary lamp scrying and sending dreams to other people and things along those lines. So I wanted to get the sacrifice stuff out of the way because I find that very interesting. And there's a lot of misconception about how we sacrifice in a modern context. So I wanted to get all that cleared up. So before we move on to, I believe it's before this, the evocationary lamp, scrying and dreaming. Let me see. Here we go. Before we get to that, let me see what's going on in the chat. My goodness, the desk is all unorganized. All right, there we go. All right, let's see what's going on. Hi, I'm new from Mississippi. What's going on, Mississippi? Thank you for being here. Welcome. I sent you $20 for a reading. You sent me $20 for a reading on my website. I didn't get an email or anything, and my readings aren't $20. So are you sure you sent the money to the right person? Jesus loves you. Yes, he does. Thank you very much. I invoked Jesus this morning. Thank you. Did you get it? The $20? Most likely not. My readings aren't $20, so you probably didn't send it to me. How'd you send it? Because I don't do Cash App or PayPal or Venmo or anything like that. I actually have a website that has a payment like I pay for a payment processor, so you can use like your credit card, your bank account, whatever. So I doubt that you sent me any money. Calaveras 3. Is it possible to commune with King Solomon? Of course you can commune with King Solomon. You would have to figure out how to get King Solomon, though. I think it would be pretty hard without his graveyard dirt and things like that, or without something that he actually wore or owned or something along those lines. But yeah, if you can get those items, sure. The only, oh, excuse me, that went down wrong. The only other option is you can use a psychopomp and have them bring Solomon to you. But I would make sure that you have a good working relationship with that psychopomp, because just like humans, as above, so below, if a human can deceive you, spirits can deceive you. I mean, I don't understand why people think that that spirits are these lovely, benevolent, always want to help you beings. No, spirits have free will as well, and some of them are bad. So, yes, you can certainly commune with King Solomon. Mammon. Mammon, what? As in Mammon, the deity Mammon? Mammon as in money? What do you mean Mammon? Mammon is in like greed? This is the credit system. What do you mean? What is the credit system? Hold on, I have to blow my nose. What is the credit system? My allergies are all jacked up. Sheesh. Here we go. What do you mean? What is the credit system? I don't know what you're talking about. Please accept my guest request. Fatty Lom Lom. Not trying to be rude. With a name like that, you seem like a troll. So most likely not. What would you like to discuss, Fatty Lom Lom? Because I don't just let any old body on my live streams here. Sounds like our banking system. What sounds like your banking system? Magic? Occultism? A sacrifice? Well, I won't lie that defense companies and contractors who profit off of war, you can look at that as a form of sacrifice, mass sacrifice, in the name of profit. Sorry, I keep getting all these Discord things for all these crypto. There we go. Jeez, it's annoying. Thank you for the follow. Alkeisha. Oh, sorry. Alexia. Do you love white people? I love all people. Hey there, I'm just peeling potatoes. You have my attention for a moment. Well, thank you. I hope you learned something while we were going over sacrifice and spirit offerings. What religion sacrifices babies? I don't know off the top of my head. I know the ancient Canaanites used to do that for Moloch, but if we're being honest, Moloch wasn't the only deity in Canaanite religion that required human sacrifice. There was another. And do you want to know what his name was? Come close. Yahweh. Yeah. See, before the Jews took Yahweh after beating the Canaanites, because that's what happens in war. When my country beats your country, we tend to take over your gods. And if we like them, we'll make them part of our pantheon. If we don't like them, then your gods don't exist anymore. We destroy their temples and their statues, and now you must worship our gods. That's what happens all throughout history. So you can contest that if you would like, but then you're not following history. After the Jews defeated the Canaanites and took over their pantheon, they adopted Yahweh, which is still to this day one of the names that Christians and some Jews, modern Jews, would refer to their deity as Yahweh. They overtook this deity. Yahweh was a war deity, a god of war. We can see that. We can see that in the Old Testament, all the bloodthirstiness that he was going through. And after removing Asherah as his wife and making him a creator deity, the Jews sort of stopped with the human sacrifice to him. But the Canaanites were sacrificing humans, most likely, and probably babies as well, to Yahweh. But we don't want to follow history. We just want to follow the Bible, the King James Bible, printed in 1611, because I don't know what Christians believed before 1611. Let's stop being retarded and let's study some history. So I like your tapestry. Well, thank you very much. I really want to get more, so that way, like, on my lives, I can have like different backgrounds, different themes. But I haven't found any that I like. Like, I want to get some that are like alchemical. I want to get some hermetic ones. Like, I want to get some that are really esoteric, but most of them are like new agey or like astrological or elemental. And it's like, that's pseudo spirituality. I want real spirituality, not pseudo spirituality. Like, so I'm trying to find one that has like the alchemical marriage or something on it, but I can't find any. So we'll see. Do the Zionists sacrifice babies? I don't know. I doubt it though. I'm not a Zionist. You'd have to ask a Zionist, and I don't study Zionism. So you'd have to ask someone who's familiar with Zionism. I know that that's not popular to say, that you don't know something, or, you know, I know everyone in these like informational type TikToks have to know everything. They have to be a master of everything. I don't study Zionism. I don't know anything about Zionism. So, sorry. Hey man, I have that same one. Look, cool background. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, a lot of people have come on here and said that they have the same one. Sounds like you're just making Thanksgiving dinner with the sacrifices. I mean, hey, listen, if you don't mind some, because there was that one ritual, I think it was the initiation one, where after you cut the head of the rooster, you got to drink its blood. I have not seen anything like that in Grimoire tradition. We don't drink blood in Grimoire tradition. We don't even our own blood. We don't even draw our own blood. Most of I can't even think of a Grimoire tradition ritual where blood. Well, that's a lie. There are spells within Grimoire tradition that use blood, but I don't know of any rituals that use blood. Off the top of my head, anyway. I'm sure there are some. But I died doing this. Well, here you are. Are you contacting us from the spirit realm? Oh my gosh. Run from this. I'm telling you, boy. Nope. I've been doing it for 20 years, and I'm still alive. I'm doing quite well, actually. Quite well. I'm convinced Egyptians didn't have gods. They had aliens. I don't know. I don't like that take. Why? So that's a very Christian take. And you might not be Christian, but here's why it's Christian. Because it has to be one or the other. It's either God or the devil. It's either black or it's white. No. Aliens can exist, and so can spirits, and so can gods. And just because aliens are real doesn't negate deities. Now, it might negate the Christian God. It might negate his I created everything and there's nothing outside of me. That it might negate that, but the existence of aliens does not negate gods existing or anything like that. Just because there are beings on other planets doesn't mean that there aren't other dimensions and other realms and other worlds, and things like that. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Plus, also, if they were dealing with aliens, why wouldn't the aliens just tell them, like, hey, we don't need your worship because it does nothing for, like literally, you praying we're aliens. We're physical beings from another planet. So you praying doesn't do anything for us. Stop doing that. We're aliens. We're known as the Palladians. You write us down, but you don't see that. There's no ancient Egyptian text that talks about Palladians or Arcturians or the Galactic Federation, or there's no Sumerian text that talks about them. There's no Akkadian text. There's no Phoenician text. There's no Canaanite text. All their texts only talk about their deities. And yes, while some of their deities did come from the sky, there were other plenty deities that came from the earth. There were plenty deities that came from the water. There were deities that came out of the trees. There were deities that come from the dead. So I can't get behind aliens being gods. I don't reject aliens exist, but I do not think that the existence of aliens would negate deities or spirits or gods or anything like that. They can both exist and not have anything to do with each other. So what are you saying? I'm done peeling. Well, have a seat and find out. We're having a rousing conversation before we get started with the evocationary bowl scrying through scrying and dreams. We're going to go through, scrying and evocation and dreaming in the Greek Magic of Papyri. But first I want to get through this. You guys know how I do it here. Thank you for the follow. Hey, what's going on? Seven the Siren. I was going to say seventh Siren. Seven the Siren. Welcome. Solomon. No. That is no. Please. Anybody in here who speaks fluently another language other than English should be able to agree with me. That whole Solomon, Solomon, so soul meaning the son, soul of man, son of man, that is an etymological fallacy. That is not how etymology works. That is not how linguistics works. I see so many New Agers doing stuff like that. Solomon or Genesis is gene of Isis. It's the goddess Isis and her genes, her DNA. It's the beginning. That's not, no. Genesis and Isis are from two different language families. They don't even have the same, that you can only play that game, which I call the etymology game. You can only play that game in English. The moment you switch, even another Romance language, because English is a Romance language. So switch to Portuguese, switch to Romanian, switch to Spanish, switch to French. It doesn't work. Solomon does not mean the same thing in English as it would in Chinese, because the word for sun in Chinese is not soul. The word for soul in Chinese is not soul. So it wouldn't work. That only works in English. The truth has to be the truth universally, right? Like if I shoot you, you're going to bleed. Whether you're in China or whether you're in Australia or whether you're in Africa, you're going to bleed. You might not die, but you're going to bleed because that's the truth. That's how truth works. If you stick a key into an ignition of a working vehicle, the vehicle's going to turn on no matter where you are in the world, because that's how truth works. But this etymology thing only works in English for a Western audience. That's not the truth. The minute you switch to another language, they're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Because that's not how the words translate. So that game, that Solomon, gene of Isis, and energy, emotion is energy, emotion, that game can only be played in English. No other language. Anybody here who's a polyglot, feel free to point to a language and prove me wrong. I got my laptop right here. We can go right into it. Find me a language where you can play that same game. You can't. It doesn't exist. It's only in English, which is a bastardized language anyway. But anyway, enough of my rant. You can do a sutra drawing for Psycho Call. What's a Psycho Call? What do you mean? Mason is a host of 33 legions, if I remember correctly. Who's Mason? Mason as like a person. Mason is the host of 30. So Mason is the host of a show called 33 Legions. I don't know of a spirit named Mason. Not to say that there isn't, but I don't know of a spirit named Mason. And the only spirits that I know that specifically rule over legions are demons. So, and not to say that I'm familiar with every demon in the world, but I'm familiar with most of the Abrahamic ones. I don't know of a Mason, but I could be wrong. Let me, I have the Dictionary of Demons right here. Michel Belanger. So we can look through that. I can go to the M's and see if there's a Mason. Hijklm. Okay, see if there's a Mason here. Here we go. M-A-G, M-A-G, M-A-L, M-A-N, M-A-R. M-A-R. Where's S? M-A-S. Okay, here we go. Masab, Masirial, Michelle, Mastema. I like Mastema. Mastuet, Manabakis. I don't see a Mason. Mathers. Well, he's not a demon. Maxian, Malalu, Maimon, Marion. That's it. I don't see a Mason. Not to say that there is no Mason, but what do you mean when you say Mason rules over 33 legions? I don't know of a demon named Mason. What do you mean by that? Or are you are you trying to make, okay, maybe you're trying to do this. Are you trying to make an allusion to masonry being demonic and the 33 degrees being demons? Is that the illusion you're trying to make? Why would you do that? How does that make any sense? You must be a Christian. Hi there. Hello, Derosha. Welcome. What is Mammon from your perspective? Mammon is a deity. At least from the Canaanites, Leviticus 19:31, do not turn to mediums or seek out spirits for you to be defiled by them. I agree with that. I agree. Do not turn to mediums. Mediums are New Age. Do not turn to spiritists. They're New Age. I agree with that. You will be defiled by them. They'll spread their New Age BS, their New Age nonsense lies about how they can instantly contact your spirit guides and your ancestors, your angels in 0.2 seconds. It takes the meditation masters in Tibet, the Tibetan monks. It takes them decades to learn how to properly meditate, but not you, not the 26-year-old white girl who goes to yoga studio next to the coffee beanery, not her. She can do it in 0.2 seconds and contact your spirits. And you believe it, and you send these people money. The silence is loud, much like my weed. Back to the topic. What version is that from? That sounds super... Oh, you're speaking to Let's Praise Yeshua. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you for the follows, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. And welcome everybody. Welcome to the Mystics Conclave, the Occult Power Hour. Once I'm done with all the chats here, we're going to be getting into the Greek Magical Papyri. We're going to be getting into evocationary bowl scrying. What's up, man? How are you? I'm doing well, Drain J. How are you? House says that aliens do not exist. Christianity doesn't say that. Christianity definitely says that. Anything outside of God is of the devil. So it doesn't make any mention that God created extraterrestrials. So therefore, anything outside of God is the devil. So if it's not human, if it's not animal, if it's not an angel, then it's a demon, according to the Christians. So unless I'm wrong, I'd love to see the Bible verse that says, and God created the extraterrestrials. And, the Palladian and the Arcturian Defense Alliance. I'd like to see it, that God created the reptilians. In the Bible. Obviously, if they exist and there is a God, he would have made them. But I mean, in the Bible. What is your take on the Orishas? I'm not an initiate of any sort of ADR or ATR, so I cannot venerate them or worship them or anything like that. I don't know specifically what kind of spirits they are. From what I have read, they seem to be equated with spirits of the elements, so like the elementals, but I am not an initiate, so I do not believe I am able to speak on that. The only ADR that I practice is hoodoo, which there are no Orishas in hoodoo. So have you ever felt uneasy when working with any type of entity? Uneasy? Like sick, you mean? No. But I have felt, I don't know how to, not normal. I mean, I've never been like uneasy, like, whoa, like, oh, my stomach, but I don't know how to put it into words. I've had emotions, I guess, but not like an uneasy feeling, like I'm sick or I'm anxious or I'm worried or anything like that. No. What is the name of that book? This book? This is Techniques of Greco-Egyptian Magic by Dr. Stephen Skinner from Golden Horde Press. I'm not going to lie, it's not cheap, $65. So 65 US and $74.95 Canadian. You might be able to get a used copy or something like that for a little cheaper, but this is a collegiate level book. This is a book that they would use like for someone doing like a dissertation of the Greek Magical Papyri. This is a very scholarly book. So while you can get it on Amazon, it's not like a $20 paperback. This is a hardcover. This is just a dust cover. It's a hardcover. So it's not cheap. And I don't think Golden Horde makes any books in paperback. So you have to really be interested in occultism or the study of it in order to want to shell out that kind of money for a book. I've had experience with aliens, gods, spirits, the Fae. Aliens don't believe in God. Yeah, I would probably agree with that aliens from other areas or other planets or whatever would probably not believe in God in the same way a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew would. But then, I mean, we only tend to equate Abrahamism with religion that's because we're in the West. We forget that many Eastern religions have Orthodox versions, like Taoism. There is an Orthodox version of Taoism, and then anything outside of that is called Tao of the Left. There is Orthodox Buddhism. There is Orthodox Shinto. There is Orthodox Javanese religion. But I mean, we are in the West, and we're only influenced by the West. So I mean, I can see why people would omit those sorts of things. But I think we tend to forget that the East also has a lot of Orthodox. And so the way they would view God, anybody saying God is something different than that, they would view as heretical, just like a Christian would or a Jew would. It's called folk etymology when people impose their own meaning without knowing how language works. It's ridiculous because it literally, like, it's, oh God, we literally have the world in our pockets and people don't use it. Like, if you didn't know, all you have to do is pull out your pocket, go to Google and just ask the question and Google will answer it for you. I think there's only been 2 questions in my entire life that I've ever asked Google that it didn't know. Like, but no, people don't think, like, people can't think any further than right now. They can't think of, oh, I don't know something, let me go look for it. They don't, no. They just, oh, I don't know something, let me just spout whatever sounds right. Or, hey, that guy is saying something and it sounds right, so must be right. That's what they do. Ridiculousness. What do you think of Mystic Mama Q? I don't know Mystic Mama Q, or I guess that's what that is. Mystic Mama Q. I don't know anybody named Mystic Mama Q. But if they're any sort of new age, I don't agree with them. I mean, I don't even have to listen to their content, or if they're new age or one of these, channeling the Galactic Federation type nonsense, I don't know. Everything is love and light, and oh, the birds, and oh, the trees, and oh, I remote viewed into Buckingham Palace and I saw the Queen doing terrible things. Shut up. Shut up. What mean of the one eye? Do you mean that eye? That eye? Or do you mean the covering of one eye? Like, people say Illuminati, like all the stars when they're, when they're covering the one eye. It depends. So this is the eye of Providence, the eye of Ra, the eye of, however you want to term it, the eye of Providence, eye of Ra, eye of Horus, blah, blah, blah. Supposed to be the all-seeing eye of God. Supposedly, this is supposed to represent the omniscience of God, how God knows all, because he sees all. That's the esoteric significance of the eye of Providence. If you're talking about the covering of one eye, this is a modern day new age occult conspiracy nonsense, of a gross misunderstanding of what adherents back in let's call it medieval Renaissance, because I mean the medieval period goes into the Renaissance period, so most people sort of mix them together. The Renaissance period, where if you were calling on a deity and the deity was arriving, you were not supposed to look at the deity. This is even prevalent within Judaism and Christianity, where no being can look upon God because he's an all-consuming fire. In the Sefer Yetzirah, which is a Judaic text, when God is appearing and people are there, they have to look down. Well, other cultures would cover one eye as they would look down, in the event that their eyes would wander and they would see the deity. So yeah, that's what the covering of one eye of this, and then that's that eye. I don't know which one you meant, so I answered both. Hold on. Can you cover the concept of active perception and will from your point of view? So I've never heard of active perception. I'm pretty sure if you can define it, I would be able to go from there. But I've never heard of anything called active perception, so I'm not sure. But will is, so it depends on how you're coming from it. But will is your own personal imposition on how you want to view the world and how you want the world to work. So when you impose your will onto the world, it changes to meet whatever your view or whatever your outlook is. So that would be probably the most basic esoteric view of will, your own personal outlook on the world, and then making it work that way. So I'm sorry. I wish I could explain more. Not enough characters. Yeah, I know that's a big problem with these live chats. I'm a Jewish pagan. Are you a Santísima devotee? She is my queen. I am not. I am not. Truth. Bro, your content is fire. I love it. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. It took Crowley over 3 months for a single spell. What spell was that? And there are plenty of spells that take quite a while. You say it as if that's a bad thing. There's a spell right here in the Sabbatica Volume 1. It's a 9-month spell. Let's see here. Let me find it so I can read it to you. So that way you don't think I'm... There it is. The Last Touch of the Great Poisoner, page 59. Let me find where it says. Here we go. All right. So with this ritual, you are supposed to go on the journey of the flesh, the journey of the blood, and the journey of the bones. And so that way you can read it for yourself. The calculation of how long it's supposed to take. 324 days. That's almost 10 months. For a ritual. The first one is 9 days. The second one is 9 weeks. And then the third one is 252 days. You add that together? 324 days. So just because Crowley took 3 months to do one spell, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are plenty of spells that take quite a while to perform, such as this one, which takes 9 months. We can look to the Liber Falcifer series. That's a 9-month period of enthroning the spirit into the fetish, into the holy fetish. We can take a look at things like 7-day candles, where it takes a full week for the spell to even be complete, let alone see results or anything like that. So just because Crowley took over 3 months for a single spell doesn't mean anything. Also, so what? Crowley isn't the creator of occultism. I don't know why people put Crowley on this pedestal. Thelema is a minority religion within occultism. It's not a major religion at all. I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why if, someone who's not an occultist comes in to look at occultism, it's like they only see Crowley. They forget about it. They forget about Giudardo Bruno. They don't see anything by Roger Bacon. They don't see anything by Trithemius. They don't see anything by Agrippa. They don't see anything by Faust. They don't see anything by anybody else other than Crowley. And then if we're lucky, they might see some Blavatsky or some Manly P. Hall nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. I appreciate your reading and sharing knowledge. Of course. No worries. God is a German word. Really? I didn't know that God was a German word. The Book of Ezekiel. The Book of Ezekiel. I always get the two words mixed up. So I believe it was Ezekiel that had the Merkaba visions. I always get the Merkaba and the Hekaloth lore mixed up because I don't speak Hebrew. But I believe Ezekiel was the Merkaba. Or the Merkaba, however you want to say it, which is another thing that the New Age takes. If you don't have to believe me, most of you are probably watching me on your phone. Fine. If you're at home or somewhere where you have a different device that you can pull up the internet and 2 separate browsers, you don't have to believe me. Google Merkaba from the Jewish perspective, which is where it comes from. You can't just take it and make it whatever you want. It comes from Judaism. So look at what the Jews believe about the Merkaba, and then open up a second tab, and then just type in Merkaba. And then you'll get a bunch of New Age stuff, and compare. It's disgusting how the New Age has literally no idea about the original, like even a remote It's two completely different meanings. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yes, the Book of Ezekiel, I believe that's the Merkava visions. If it's not the Merkava, then it's the Hekaloth. But I believe it's the Merkava. God, Gut, Zeus. You are the illumined one by blood. Club enslaves. What do you mean by that? Can't possess an emotion, only touch it. What do you mean by that? What is your take on the Orishas? I think I already answered that one. Self-gnosis. Well, the problem with self-gnosis is that you can be wrong. Obviously, you're going to tell yourself that you're right. That's called ego. If you don't know something, you can't meditate and just know it. You have to study it. It has to be experienced. You can't just meditate and know things. You can't just, sit and do mudras and just, be able to flesh out an entire cosmology. That's not how it works. So that's the issue with self-gnosis. Even Christianity has an Eastern Orthodox. Yes, but the Eastern Orthodox within most Orthodox Christian branches are not accepted. The Eastern Orthodox broke off from traditional Orthodoxy fairly recently, but well, in terms of history, it was recently, as opposed to the Great Schism of the Latins and the Orthodox. But there's more than just Eastern Orthodox. There's Greek Orthodox, there's Syriac Orthodox, there's Ethiopian Orthodox, there's the Eastern Orthodox, there's the Russian Orthodox. Yes, but the Eastern Orthodox is probably the least popular of all the Orthodox faiths. I would say Greek and Russian are probably the most popular, with Ethiopian following third. Hey, just joined from UK. What's your thoughts on the mothership Nibiru and the Anunnaki, bro? Nonsense. All of it is nonsense. Maybe not the Anunnaki. They were mentioned in Sumerian text, but like a mothership, Nibiru being anything other than like a rogue planet is nonsense. No. Aliens think they're the smartest, oldest beings and haven't found evidence of God. Well, I think that would be a hard thing. They're looking for physical evidence of a spiritual being. That's why I say spirituality is experiential. You have to experience it. They're not going to find any they're trying to find artifacts or something. Unless God made an artifact and then put it somewhere, there's not going to be any sort of physical evidence unless you accept life itself as physical evidence. There's not going to be any physical evidence of God, which you would think aliens would know that if they were smart. Which is why I have a hard time with aliens. I don't discount that they exist, but I have a hard time with them because it seems that no matter what people try to say about them, they always put human qualities on them, such as not being able to determine, the fact that they're trying to find physical evidence of a spiritual being. So that's can you do the reverse? Can you find spiritual evidence of something physical? So she's a TikToker, claims she contacts the galactic. Well, then she's a lie. And here's how you can easily prove that these channelers are lying, right? Not this. Let me find a grimoire here. All right, let's do the Arbitel. So if I were to pull out the Arbitel, and I were to go through the Arbitel, and I were to find one of the Olympic spirits, let's just do Fool. Let me find Fool. It's the first one that came to mind. So Fool is an Olympic spirit, so that means he's one of the lesser planetary spirits. So he's not a demon. These aren't demons. There's no culture, at least in Western esotericism, that would affix these as demons. These are lesser planetary beings under the intelligences and planetary angels. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. So if I were to ask them to contact Fool, right? Right now, his PHUL. And here's his sigil, whatever. So go ahead and channel Fool. All I want to know is what is his description and what is his job. That's it. I don't want no lottery numbers. I don't want to know who's going to win the next presidency. I don't want to know where Bitcoin is going to go. I don't want to know none of that nonsense. I want to know something that can be proven in the moment right fucking now. Tell me, who is Fool and what does he do? That's all I want to know. If you're really contacting Fool, he should tell you. And it should not contradict any of the classical texts. I'm not saying it has to be a verbatim, but it has to be close enough that you're like, okay, you're really contacting Fool. So if you are contacting Fool, you should be telling me that that's his, let me see here. There we go. You should be telling me that Fool can change all metals into silver. He governs all things under the moon. He cures dropsy, and he gives familiars of the element of water, which serve people in both physical form and visible form, which means spiritual in the classical text. And he can help you for 300 years. He acts with all his spirits at all times naturally, and of course, in the same manner, otherwise of his own free will if God does not prevent it. And then his sigil. And also he rules over 7 armies of spirits. And an army, I believe, has 1,000 in them, but that's not in this text. I think that's from the Testament of Solomon. So if the channeler isn't able to tell you something along those lines about Fool, then they can't channel. They're lying. So that's what I would say. I would find an angel, not a popular angel, not Michael, not Uriel, not Raphael, not Gabriel. I would find an angel or a benevolent being and ask the channeler to contact them and have ready the description of that spirit and just ask, what does that spirit do? If they agree to do it, you'll get some generic New Age answer like, oh, it's the spirit of love and joy and grace and mercy and beauty and oneness and all that nonsense. They're not going to give you anything legitimate. That's how you can prove whether or not these people can really channel. Simply do that. Just ask them to channel an angel that's not well known, because obviously if it's Michael, they're going to say, oh, well, he's the protector, blah, blah. Okay. Well, we mentioned Mastema earlier from the Dictionary of Demons. I wouldn't consider Mastema a demon. I would consider Mastema one of the luminaries, which is something from Gnostic theology, more akin to the fixed stars than anything else. But contact Mastema. Who is Mastema? What is their job description according to the ancient classical texts? That's all I want to know. They'll fall short. 100%. I promise you. So that's how I would prove one of these channelers wrong. Channel an angel that no one knows or that is not well known, and their description should match the description in the classical text. So, is there an afterlife? Of course, indeed there is. You can go there right now. It's called astral projection. Google is a supercomputer that will start to figure out what you need to know. Okay. Are fallen angels and demons the same? Not all of them, but in some sense, yes. Yes, in some sense, yes. No, one is a demon and one is a fallen angel. No, they are, not all demons are, of course, fallen angels, but all fallen angels are demons, yes. It's kind of like how not all witches are Wiccans, but all Wiccans are witches. So, I think will is the force you have behind intention. I like that definition. Everyone has will, but some people will is weak. Yes, very true. Some people do have a very weak will. Building energy and intention for months. What book was that? That book was the Arbitel of Magic. Does the afterlife exist? Yes. Active perception is about quantum singularity only existing within perception. The time for spells. So you mean like an altered state of consciousness? Is that what you mean? What book was that with the 3 journeys? That was Sabbatica. Sabbatica, The Seas of Death and the Arcana of the Deathbringer is the full title. This is from Nephilim Press. This is an anthology, so that means that it's not by one author. Each chapter is by a different author, but it's compiled by Edgar Kerval. It's his idea, Edgar Kerval, of Sirius Esoterica Limited. Yeah, because I have some of his other books. Edgar Kerval, or Edgar Kerval. Most recently, he's known for working with E.A. Koetting and some of his people, like Bill Duvendak and stuff like that. I'll show you some of the table of contents, and you can see some of the authors. So that way, if you want to do your own research on these authors, except this one, fuck S. Ben Kane and everything he stands for. Don't get it. Don't read anything by him. I'm sorry. After reading the Book of Smokeless Fire, I discount everything this man says. I'm sorry. But after reading this dumpster fire of a book, the Book of Smokeless Fire, also by or from Nephilim Press, I cannot endorse anything that S. Ben Kane is part of at all. But anyway, sorry, let me go back to the table of contents. So we've got the Death and the Resurrection Show, and then Dead but Dreaming, the Art of Necromancy and Calling the Fallen, Drawing Forth the Dead, the Necromantic Ritual of Reawakening, The Waters of Death and the Graveyard of Stars. This guy is someone who you should read almost everything by, Nicolas de Matos Frisvold, especially the ATRs and the ADRs. He wrote books on Kimbanda, Ifa, Pambagira, Obea. There's another one that I'm forgetting, and I can't... Kiambusa. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But yeah. We've got The Last Touch of the Great Poisoner, which is the 9-month ritual. The Crown of Black Thorns, Exploration and Invocations of Our Holy Mother Death. The Triumph of Death. The Aram Musak Nekas, or the 3 Souls of the Shuar. That's Shrunken Head Magic. And then The Garden of Bones, Working with Death and the Dead in Pan-Aeonic Witchcraft. Death Magic and Psychic Spiritual Nature of Revenge. 7 Feet Under. The Heart of Fire Beneath the Tongue of Silence. An Automatic Writing Provocation. Justia Omnibus. And then the contributors. And then there's some artwork, and it gives you some of the art, like some of the people who did the art in the text. So if you're interested in necromancy or necrosophy, the Sabbatica series, there's, as of this moment, I believe there's 8 Sabbatica books. I have volume 1 and 4. That was volume 1. This is volume 4. Volume 4 was printed through his own publishing company, Edgar Kerval. Sirius Esoterica Limited, or Syria Limited Esoterica, as compiled by Edgar Kerval. This is Sabbatica Volume 4, The Garden of Bones and the Arcana of Death. I have another one. I think I have number 4 too. I keep forgetting about this one. Or 6, excuse me, that's 4. This is 6. I have number 6 as well. Edgar Kerval, Bill Duvendak, Sean Woodward, and more. So, and this is also from Sirius Esoterica Limited. This one's paperback. The other 2 were hardcover. Whew. All right. Are we going to be able to get to the scrying and stuff, guys? Y'all know I don't like to leave questions unanswered. I'm not that kind of creator. I try to get through everything. But are we going to have... I mean, I guess I can stop whenever I want, right? And I can start whenever I want. I don't have anything to do. I took off today and tomorrow because I start my new job on Monday. So I told my boss yesterday when I went into the office, I ain't coming tomorrow, and I ain't coming on Friday, and I don't give a damn what you say. Just kidding. I just told her I'm not going to come in. She's like, all right, whatever. So, all right, let's see. So that was the book with the 3 journeys. Nephilim Press. I don't know if they have any copies left. I'm sure they do. Nephilim is not really a popular... publishing company. Honestly, the most popular book that ever probably came out of Nephilim Press is probably The Holy Guardian Angel and Goetic Grimoire. Well, no. 7 Spheres and the Book of Abraxas are also pretty popular. But anyway, It was more about the fact of mistrust with quick spells. There we go. Let me flip that back around. There are many different possibilities for afterlife, but none of them are permanent. Thank you for the roses. Right. The Jewish, for sure, New Age, Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, true. Yes, that is very true. Letter for the future, please. I never did this, please. What are you saying? I heard Merkaba could have Egyptian origin. I don't know about that. What makes you say that? What would be the evidence of that? I would be more comfortable with a Greek origin of Merkaba. There is some contention about the origins of Kabbalah being Greek, not Jewish. The Greeks founded it. The Jews perfected it. I don't know. Those are difficult. Even though there is a Greek or a Hermetic Kabbalah, it does not resemble the Jewish Kabbalah, except for the fact that it's called Kabbalah and that it has 10 Sephiroth. I don't know. We would have to do some anthropological research on that. You are being deceived. What makes you say that? Spiritual warfare is real, dude. I'd watch out. It is very real. I deal with it every single day. Every single day. Every day. With the Tatwa cards, could they be placed in front of the scrying tool within the table of practice? Yes, you can do that. Although, do you have a large enough table of practice to fit your scrying device in it? Because I know my table of practice can't fit my mirror. It can fit my crystal ball, but not my mirror. The mirror, because the mirror is it's like in an old picture frame. You guys have seen my mirror before. But the table of practice wouldn't be able to fit the mirror, only the obsidian sphere, the ball. I believe in aliens, just can't care until they are seen. Yeah, I don't discount that they exist. But this whole thing with, the aliens aren't going to work with us until we all can be at peace and love one another. That's fine if that's true. But why can't the aliens just why do we need Karen with 20,000 followers to tell us that? Why can't the aliens just land and say, guys, we want to work with you, but you got to get your shit together and then we'll be back. Here's our number. Here's how you call us, or here's our satellite galactic number, whatever. Call us when you're ready. But no, we have to find out from ancient aliens, or we got to find out from Elizabeth April's channelings on YouTube. What? Why wouldn't the aliens just come and tell us? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, because everyone's going to freak out? No, they're not. That's the dumbest thing under the sun. Just because aliens land, people are going to go, oh my God, it's time to loot. Time to flip over cars and burn down houses. No, what? That doesn't make any sense. Sure, are there some retards in the world? Of course. There's 8 billion people in the world. Sure, some people are going to be dumb. But you mean to tell me there's going to be global panic because aliens land? No, people are dumb. They're going to look. They're going to go, oh. What? A lot of people died, but what happened during the tsunami almost 10 years ago? No one ran. Everyone just go, oh. And then they all died because no one did what they were supposed to do and ran away. People don't react. They just look dumb. They look, That's what happens. So that's what's going to happen. No one's going to panic and flip over cars and burn down buildings. There's going to be panic in the streets because aliens land. That's the dumbest excuse under the sun. No. So why don't the aliens land and just tell us? Why don't they just land and tell us? Maybe because I won't go that far. I won't go as far as saying they don't exist. But why don't the aliens land and tell us? That's all. The only rationalization you can give is a human rationalization. You're not an alien, so you can't give what the aliens are thinking if they exist and choose not to show themselves. You can only give a human rationalization. You know what that's called? Ego. Ego. I contacted unicorns in the fifth dimension. Unicorn. Can you smell ghosts? Woo! P.U. Oh, ghost. Woo! What religion are you going with here? This is interesting. We're not going with any religion. If you're asking my religion, I'm a Hermeticist, but we're not talking about religion. Boop, boop. Plenty of unicorns. So what's your take on the Euphrates drying up? I don't know. Global warming, maybe? What's my take on any, like, why is the Euphrates, because it's in the Bible? Okay, let's move over to the East. I'm sure there are rivers mentioned in Hindu holy texts and Buddhist holy texts. What about those? Rivers dry up all the time. That's what a desert is. So I don't know. Why is the Euphrates? I mean, what about another river that's also drying up? Why isn't that one on your mind? But the Euphrates is because it's in the Bible. Global warming. We have record heat in my state. I was listening to a podcast and it said yesterday Ohio was like 117 degrees. That is probably why lakes are drying up. But no, it's God. God's coming back. More transparency. What are you doing? Which religion? We're not doing religion. And you would have transparency if you were here beforehand. Don't ask me to rewind because you got here late. Sorry. Why are you taking folktales literally? I'm not. Which folktale am I taking literally? Depends. Channeling is bringing spirit in body, not divination. Yeah, that would only be a thing if the spirit actually exists. So if they really are channeling the spirit, they should be able to answer the question. Divination isn't answering the question. So, I mean, like, what other purpose is there to channel a spirit other than to receive information? So it will take a while for him to reach you as there are many questions. Very, very true. What religion is he backing? None. We have TV channels full of demons. We have TV channels full of perverts. That's what we have TV channels full of. Perverts. Me Too was just the surface of what's really going on in Hollywood. Nothing satanic. I can promise you it's nothing satanic. But it's highly disgusting. And it's all about the moolah. Not the devil. The moolah. Any angel who disrespects God gets deported. He's out of here. He did answer my question within 10 to 15 minutes, though, I think. Can't just summon anything. You need correspondences. You need more than correspondences. The correspondences are nice. Well, first of all, do you know what correspondences are? Like, just because I have the correct candle colors and the correct time doesn't mean anything. I still have to know how to properly get in touch with that spirit, and I have to verify to make sure that that spirit is the spirit that I intended to call, and then be able to perceive the spirit. You get summoned to court. You go into court. They come in to serve you. No, they are different. What's different? Cool mythology. Well, thank you, Wolfgang Geltenstein. Ich komme aus den Reich des Bösen. All fallen angels are demons. Yes. Do you find you can contact entities through astral projection? Yes. This is mostly how I've been able to do it. Yes, of course. That's probably the easiest way if you can astral project. That's probably the easiest way to get in touch with spirits, but also the most dangerous because if you're astral projecting, you probably don't have any protection about you. So it's probably good to have an astral temple and then set up some protections and some wards and then go ahead and freely journey the astral plane and do whatever you were there to do. But yes, you can certainly meet spirits in the astral and contact spirits in the astral. But it's also dangerous. So be careful. So is he a Christian mystic? I would not deny that term. I would prefer to call myself a grimoire traditionalist magician. But Christian mystic is fine. I do not have an issue with that. Angels and fall and demons were born fallen. No, I don't. I don't study Islamic lore, but I would doubt that Islamic lore says anything like that. And I know for a fact Jewish and Christian lore do not say anything like that. So mythology go crazy, yo. Angels can't fall nor betray God. Demons are primordial infernal entities separate. I don't agree with that. Even in the Bible, I believe it's Job, but don't quote me. There is the reference to God not trusting the angels. There's a reference of God saying he doesn't trust the angels. So yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Angels can certainly fall and betray God because it stated that there was a point where he didn't trust them. Book of L's angel, angel, Michael, Gabriel. Yes, there's an etymology that is legitimate. Yes. So we talked about this on a live before, how almost all, it's not all, but almost all of the angels that come out of the Mediterranean, so that come out of the Greek, the Roman, the Persian, the Gnostic, even though the first Gnostics were Greek, they spread out and went elsewhere. So Gnostic, things like that. All the angels that come out of those regions, not all, most do end with El, and that's because El means God in that region. We can go back to the ancient Jewish text, the ancient Canaanite text, the ancient I can't think of the other area. Israel, Canaan, and I can't think of the other one right now. But we can go back and look at those texts and see El as a sacred name of God, which still exists to this day. In Grimoire tradition, we use El as one of the sacred names of God. And so there's this notion that the names of the angels are not names, they're merely titles, because Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, they have those names mean something. It means it has something to do with their function, with their station, with their job in the heavenly court, in one of the 7, 8 heavens. Yes, that's definitely a real thing. Not all angels, of course. There are like Metatron, Sandalphon, Megamedon, things like that. But there's, Michael or Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael, Yahoel, Jael, things like that. Zachiel, Aniel. True, demons represent their angel counterparts. Some angels thought they were tough shit. Yes, so there are some angels that do have a demonic counterpart. Within Grimoire tradition, this is known as the Shemhempharash. So there's the Goetia, which is the 72 demons, and then there's the Shemhempharash, which is the 72 angels, and they make up the whole. Some people would prefer you to call on the angels of the Shemhempharash before you evoke before you evoke the demons of the Goetia. I can see that, and I used to have presiding angels over my demonic evocations. I don't do it anymore, but it wasn't the Shem angels. It would mainly just be Michael. Yes, that's definitely a thing. Jinns, what about them? The Book of Jinn. I never heard of the Book of Jinn. Plus, I don't really, other than this Book of Smokeless Fire here, which is supposed to be about jinns. He is making a lot of Bible references. Why'd you spell Bible like that? That was great. Don't research ATR if you're not a person of color. I don't agree with that. I think you can research it, sure. What's wrong with being informed and with being enlightened about another culture? Now, if you mean don't practice if you're not a person of color, I also don't agree with that. That's up to the spirits to determine, not a human. I know plenty of white people who are members of ATRs, and I do mean ATRs, African traditional religions, not ADRs, African diaspora religions. I am personal friends with 3 of them, personal friends. You can ask them about me, not about the Mystical Rebel. They don't know me as that. They know me as the God King. You can go to angelocardomancy.com, not Angelo's cardomancy.com. He is an initiate of voodoo. Ask him. He's white from south of France. You can go to the voodoo sorcerer, Hungan Rocky Geese, or Funchet Nampoint down in South Florida. He is a Hungan Eswoge, formerly of the House of Jean Kent, who now runs his own house, his own Voodoo Societe. He is white. And Brother Moloch of MolochSorcery.com is also white and a member of the House of Jean Kent down in South Florida. So that's up to the spirits to determine whether or not a non-person of color is able to be accepted into the initiatory ranks of whatever sort of ATR is being done. Nicolas de Matos Frisvold is an initiate. He's white. He's Polish, I believe. He's white. And he's well respected amongst the ATR and the ADR communities. I think his first book wasn't so, because people didn't know what to expect and they were like, this is like a white guy. But once they realize that like he's not just writing, but like he's going to these countries, literally moving to for years, not 3 months to live with a shaman. He's living amongst the people living there and learning from the Babalawos or the Hunganaswoges or the Tatas or the Yayas or the Paleros or the Santeros, whomever he's studying under, the Obeah men, and he's learning directly from them and then recounting what he has learned for the uninitiated to be knowledgeable. So I don't know if I agree with that. It's up to the spirits to make the determination whether or not someone should be a member, not someone's race or their bloodline, because when it all boils down to it, we all come from the same place. The races are just from a biological migration. It has nothing to do with our primal source. So he challenged Christians to find something earlier. So I don't know. These are literal fictionary. These are literally, excuse me, fictional stories. I hope you don't actually believe them. What is literally fictional stories? What are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. This some fire trash. Then why are you here, sir? You're free to swipe on. So are you a wizard? I'm a wizard, Harry. No one uses that word in any real way. But I guess if you would like to use that word, sure. But I prefer magician or magus or witch. But yeah, if you want to use wizard, that's fine. But no one in any real way uses that term. We're legally dead. Lost at sea. What? Mythology has no purpose. It's literally stories from long ago that try to explain things at Botley. Why are you guys arguing in the chat? Hi, Butterfly. Hello. Hello, Rainbow Spectrum. Welcome. Welcome. Corpse Corporation. Nope, that's not how etymology works. Do you guys believe in wizards? I believe in Harry Potter. Haha, I know, that's right. F work. That's right, F work. Why? Because he can speak eloquently and presents himself well? Huh? It's the 21st century. You think people would be better. It is the 21st century. You would think if people don't like something, they'd swipe on by. But here you are. So you can't judge others when you're acting just as stupid, good sir. And if you're not a male, I don't care. Do you know any book that is from 1920 about folk practices? The Long Lost Friend? I know that one is from around that time. That's around Franz Barden's time. The Long Lost Friend is from the 1920s. It's about, or around that time. It's about folk, German. I'm even going to go as far as saying powwow folk magic practices. A Pennsylvania Dutch type folk magic. Yeah, The Long Lost Friend. For you, Falsey, that's the only one I know specifically from the 1920s is The Long Lost Friend. Greece got their knowledge from Africa, not the other way around. Decolonize your practice. When did I say Africa got their knowledge from Greece? When did I say that? I never said that at all. But thank you. Norse gods predate all of this. All of what? Norse gods predate all of what? Because we're talking about a lot of different things here. So you gotta be more specific. A lot of channeling is just spiritual gaslighting, to be honest. Discernment is key. That is correct. Excuse me. Everyone's going to be with their phones out recording. That's right. That's right. They're not going to be flipping over cars and burning down buildings like everybody wants you to believe. That's nonsense. Ooh, excuse me. Imagine the aliens already came but landed in Texas and decided they saw enough. It doesn't make any logical sense for them just not to be like, hey, we're here, we're watching you guys, but you guys are effed up, so you can't play with us. And until you guys fix your shit, then you can't play with us. So bye. Like, that would be the most logical thing for these so super superior intelligent beings. They're not being intelligent by picking people with no real followings to give us the message. Even if they were going to do that, you would pick someone with like Kim Kardashian or, one of the Jenners or Ronaldo or, someone with hundreds of millions of followers, not the girl on YouTube with 100,000 followers. That's not getting the message to the world. That's getting the message to the 1,000 people who watched the video. Like, stop playing with me. Like, that doesn't make any logical sense for some super intelligent, superior race to not want to get the message out in the most effective way. That doesn't make any sense. You ever heard of mounting? You channel a spirit for healing and blessing. Yes, they mount in the ATRs and the ADRs. Getting ridden by like the Loa or things like that. Yes. Possession rework. Yes. How is that not Santana? Satanic. How is what not satanic? Correspondences to the spirit, not Wicca. Yeah, I know. I was just being facetious. Wait. Well, I'm read that wrong. Who is the one that commands God's hands? What do you mean? Nobody commands God's hands if you're coming from the Abrahamic perspective. I'm not sure what you mean. Yes, absolutely. That's what I do, i.e. your instructions on astral projection to make contact. Oh, great. I'm glad you found use in that video. It is dangerous. Definitely have my run-in with weird entities. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Even when we go to the underworld to, to get like totem animals or spirit animals or to do like a soul retrieval. Very dangerous. It's very dangerous. You should have either a psychopomp or you should have some sort of wards set up before making that journey. Samuel and Lucifer different. Yes, Samuel would be a person. Lucifer would be a deity. How does God's lack of trust equals angels disobey? So it's not that the lack of trust means angels disobey. It's the lack of trust means that they can disobey. If something does not have the capacity or the ability to go against anything that you say or do, there would be no reason to distrust them. That does not make any logic. Like literally, that does not make any logical sense. If you like, I can't fly, so there's no reason to trust that if I jump, I'm not going to come down. I'm going to come down. I can't fly. I'm a human being. It's not logical to think, well, maybe if he jumps 100 times, he could fly. That's not logical. I'm going to come down to the earth because it's impossible for me to fly. So if the angels, so if God had a lack of trust in his angels, it would have meant that they were able to go against whatever he was saying. So can you spell that? Shemhemfarash? I don't know how to spell it off the top of my head. SHEMHAM PHORASH. Shemhemfarash. All right. The angelic demonic counterparts is also something I've seen. Good. Smokeless Fire. Yeah, that's a great resource on jinn evocation. No, I don't think so. The Book of Smokeless Fire is not good at all. Maybe in his angles theory, there's some validity, but no, it's not. The Book of Smokeless Fire is not good at all. I don't recommend anybody get that book for jinn work at all. It's just not good. From the very jump, he gives you historical fallacies. He gives you esoteric fallacies. He just outright lies. He says that the book is based on the Michelano de Salomon or something like that. First of all, when you read the Michelano de Salomon, it's nothing to do with jinn. First of all, it's basically what the Kabbalion is to Hermetics, where it says, we're going to teach you the ancient Hermetic teachings, and we're so pleased to be teaching you these ancient Hermetic teachings. And then you read it, and you're like, okay, this is nice. And then you go read an actual Hermetic book, and you're like, the Kabbalah didn't mention any of this. That's the exact same thing. It's saying, oh, well, I'm going to teach you, this is a new translation of the Michelano de Salomon. You go, okay, that's cool. Then you do your real research, and you go back and you read the Michelano de Salomon, and it's not any Arabic magic at all, and you're like, what? So yeah, no. I left a very bad, scathing review back in like 2012, 2013, something like that, on evocationmagic.com, which was a forum for advanced practitioners. And Frank Red, the owner of Nephilim Press came on, like signed up. I guess someone sent him my review, signed up and like came on there to defend the book. Oh my God, it was, and luckily for me, other magicians on the forum who had read the book agreed, like, I gotta agree with the God King. This is not good. You should be able to find it on the Wayback Machine or the Internet Archives. If you go on there and then you Google, or you go on there and you look up Evocation Magic and then look for posts from the God King. I kept my same name across all the forums I was on. So you're telling me there's a white man figuring out our ATR and sharing in books? Yes, there's plenty of them, and they're accepted because the spirits don't see race. The spirits don't see color. They see your soul, and that has nothing to do with it. So the spirits choose, not a human who can fall prey to ego, which is what racism is. And it seems like, I'm sorry, it seems like you're a little racist. That's ego. So if the New Age was ever true, that's not walking in the light. That's not walking in love and walking in power. That's walking in hate and bigotry. And yeah, I don't agree with that. The way you can read through people is empowering. Well, thank you very much. I just don't let people get to me because I don't come from opinion. The things that I talk about, you can experience too. I'm not a new ager. I don't say things and then go, oh, well, you can learn it too, but then don't tell you the way. I give you the sources so you can go and check me out. You don't got to believe me. I give you the source so you can go check me out and then you can do it yourself. There's no new ager who does that. They all say, oh, you can do everything I can do too. And then if they do teach you, you got to pay them $6,000 to go to Joshua Tree with them to meditate. That's ridiculous. Got me tight. Got me tight. Tom Bow. Sheesh. Got me tight. Let me fix this here. Oop, oop, oop. Oop, oop. There we go. Hold on. Let me put it back where it was in the thingy. All right. Books or meditations on gaining control of self. Austin Osman Spare is really good for that. Austin Spare. The father of sigil magic. The father of modern day sigil magic. Austin Osman Spare. Oh my God, thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see here. Scroll down here. Oh, I need more info on Penn Dutch folk magic. It's called Powwow. It's called Powwow. Pennsylvania Dutch magic called Powwow. Silver Ravenwolf, who was my first introduction to magic. I do not recommend her magic books, but she's good for Powwow, I guess. So, I don't know. But yeah, she's the leader of the Black Forest Clan, the largest group of covens in the U.S. and Canada, I believe. So she writes on Powwow. She writes on Powwow. Wait, let me take it out of this one. I think I got another one. Hold on. Okay, let me take it out of this one. I think I got another one. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna put you down for a second. I think I got another one that I could use. Well, where would it be if I did have one? I usually keep everything over here because I don't want to use it no more. I don't want to use it. No more. Oh, I know where it is. There you are. I'll use this one. Because that other one's a little loose. It's a little loose. It's a little loose. A mile? I ain't had that bitch. It's a little loose. Let me see. Yeah, this one will be alright. This one will be fine. I promised. All right, yeah. Okay, we'll use this. All right, we'll use this one instead of that other one. Okay. Sorry, peoples. I had to switch the holder because that other one is loose. Loose. There we go. All right. No, they contacted. They contracted Kim K to keep it secret. Who? The aliens? Our society hates intelligence. I do agree with that. It doesn't promote learning or figuring anything out for yourself. It's just believe whatever you're told. Jesus Christ loves you all. Well, thank you. You can tell Jesus I love him too. I think you're full of hooey, but I really like your delivery. Well, thank you. You are free to try out any of the stuff that I've mentioned. I've given several books, several authors, several resources for you to take a look and do the work yourself. I mean, you got to pay me $6,000, and then we'll go on a spiritual retreat, and only then will you be divulged the true secrets. So, Samuel is one angel of punishment out of the 7. Lucifer is Roman goddess. Do you mean Samael? Not Samuel. You mean Samael? Not Samuel. Samuel's a name, a Hebrew name. I think you mean Samael. You keep saying ego like you understand Vedanta. You need ego. Ego is needed, but I'm talking about in the West, we have this view of ego death, and a lot of spiritual people think that they went through an ego death, yet they keep talking from a point of view of ego. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of what he is saying is his personal opinion. The community would think he's crazy. What community? I doubt that. The New Age community, sure. But the occult community, no. As I've said, ask about me. There are plenty of forums, one of which is Wizard Forums that I'm on right now. You can also ask about me on EA Cowedding's forum. You can ask about me on, what's that? Occultworld.net. You can ask about me on Studio Arcanist. These are forums full of advanced practitioners. They know me as the God King, not as the Mystical Rebel. Except on Wizard Forums, because the owner of that one, he does my video editing. And then he switched my under username to the Mystical Rebel. So feel free to ask practitioners about me. I've given 3 practitioners who are initiates of Voodoo. You can ask them about me. Yeah, I mean, unlike the New Agers and probably unlike you, I have no issue giving references. I have no issues giving sources. I know you're not trying to come at me, but like, don't make it seem like I'm just talking out of the side of my ass. You can check me out. I have no problem giving you the people you can go and talk to and then decide for yourself, which I just did. So, powwow. I'm sorry. Yes, powwow. So POWWOW. Yes, powwow. But I think it's pow, like pow hyphen wow. I think that's how it is. Powwow. So yeah, Google that. You're a wizard. Nah, we don't really like that term. But sure, you can use that. Powwow is a native term for their gatherings. It's also the term for the specific type of magic and the people who practice it. You can simply ask any Pennsylvania Dutch person. Sadly, magic don't work. We tried all class long, but my 8th grade teacher never turned the sand. Well, I'm sorry. You didn't use the right ritual. Are you sure you read the 6 and 7 books of Moses and had the holy table prepared properly with the blood of the dove? You didn't. Just kidding. You don't just say a place and put folk behind it. Indian folk magic, Vedic folk practices. I didn't, but thank you for the accusation. I never once did that. So, but okay. Thanks for the accusation. He practices a lot of white magic. Nothing wrong. It's just small. I'm sorry you feel that way. You seem very racist. I'm just as confused to the term. I don't know how Pennsylvania Dutch folk magic relates to what? Can you tell us something mind-blowing about witchcraft and occultism? I don't know what would blow your mind. What do you mean mind-blowing? You got to be more specific than that. Besides the necessary things in seven spheres, do you feel there's anything else needed before? I would say you want to make sure that your third eye is open. You want to make sure that you've got your spiritual faculties, your third eye, your top vision, your spirit vision open. I would probably say have shields and wards. As you go through the initiation, you'll meet a bunch of different spirits. None of them are going to be evil per se, but some of them may not really want you around or have your best interest at heart. So you just want to be protected, especially when you're in Saturn. You want to be protected. So I've been really interested in Beelzebub, and I've been seeing flies more. Well, I don't think that has anything to do with anything. Especially if you're just interested in Beelzebub. It may be different if you were like performing invocations and sacrifices to Beelzebub, but if you just have an interest, just seeing flies, it's no different than when you want to go buy a new car and you have and you have a car in mind, and then as you drive around, now you're seeing that car more and more and more. Those cars have always been there. You're just now seeing it more because you have an interest in that car. So I wouldn't say that that seeing flies is evidence of Beelzebub or anything like that. So EA quitting is a joke, and you know it. Yes, he is a joke. Never once said he wasn't a joke. I just said there are people on his forum that you can ask about me. Like I don't know like what your goal is here, but yeah, you got to stop. You got to stop. I usually don't ban or block people, but you're getting there. You're accusing me of saying things I didn't say. You're racist, and then you try to call me out of my practice, and then I give you people to go and verify, and then you still accuse me of saying things I didn't say. So you're getting close. Okay, thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I had a dream about the colors my Orisha. I had a dream about the colors of my Orisha Santeria book. Woke up and read the chapter. I didn't finish. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. You had a dream about the colors of your Orisha Santeria book? Like you purchased the book and then you had a dream about the colors of the book? Or is this a book that you're supposed to write yourself and then you had a dream about it? But then you woke up and you read the chapter? I'm not sure I follow. I'm sorry. And I'm only going off of what you said. If you mean something different, I'm sorry, but I'm just reading verbatim exactly what you said. So glad to see you. Glad to see you too, Cat W24. Welcome, 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 welcome. Then what are you? What do you mean? What am I? Like religious wise? I'm a Hermeticist. LMAU. It was about Okosi, and why did I have a mousetrap in there from an old project? Synchro. I don't know. I'm not sure. Nope. We used Crowley, and it was worth a shot. We still had to take the test. Use Crowley? What spell in Crowley turns your teacher to sand? Turn the teacher to sand. Can it be possible that that Bible prophecy can be written by man and carried out by man as well? Well, that's the only way to write Bible prophecies, by man. I don't think God's going to reach out of the heavens and pick up a pen and write it. And I'm not trying to be rude, but that would be the only way for Bible prophecy or for any spiritual prophecy to be written is by man. A spirit wouldn't be picking up a pen and actually writing anything down. Yes, that would be the only way. Now, carried out by man as well, I would also agree, yeah, there would be no other way to carry out a prophecy other than for a human to do it. Or a man, a person. I mean, I can't say it'll be human, it could be aliens or whatever. But a person, yes. What do you mean, or, well, I guess you mean what, because you said why do you mean, but I guess you mean what do you mean in Saturn? So he was asking about a book called Seven Spheres, which shows you how to initiate into each of these planetary spheres, each of the seven planetary spheres. And it includes depending on how you do it, either astral projecting or scrying to view the sphere and the spirits and to interact with them, blah, blah, blah. So while you're going through Saturn, I was saying you would want to be especially protected because the Saturnian beings are not nice. They're not nice beings at all. They're just not nice. Not that they're evil. It's not that they're evil, but in order for anything to be renewed, it first has to be destroyed. So they're like fire. Fire's not bad, but if you get burned, it hurts. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, fire in any form is not a good thing in any way, other than a candle flame or to keep you warm. But outside of that, it's not really a good, or to cook. But it's not really a good thing. So I would say the spirits of Saturn are more like that. They're more akin to like fire in that way. Do you know any books about shielding and warding? Yeah. Jason Miller's Protection and Reversal Magic is pretty good. That's the only book that I know of. Like, oh wait, no, there's Magical Spells and Protection, but I forgot who that's by. Just Google that title, Magical Spells and Protection. But Protection and Reversal Magic by Jason Miller is pretty good. Those are the only two that I can think of that are specifically about protection-based magic. Most other books have a chapter or a section on protection stuff, but the whole book isn't about that. But those two, the whole book is about that. In Haiti, we say no such things as coincidence. I can gel with some of that. Sometimes things are a coincidence. Excuse me. I don't think that everything in life is magic, or that's, in my opinion, that's a New Age thing. But yes, there are certainly times when it's not a coincidence. Yes. Keep dreaming. I am flying. You're flying? Are you on a private jet, or are you on a flight and you paid for the Wi-Fi? Because on my flight, they wanted $8. I wasn't giving you $8 for no Wi-Fi. I can't type everything in one comment, so I have to break it up in parts. No worries. I really appreciate you. Thank you for answering my questions. Got to go until next time. Well, thank you for being here, Arina. Always appreciate you and your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm an Aquarius with Capricorn placements. I think some Saturnians can get I think some and Saturnians can get along. What is the book name again? The ones for Protection and Reversal Magic by Jason Miller, and Magical Spells and Protections, or some variation of that. 7 Spheres. Yes, 7 Spheres. That's right here. 7 Spheres. 7 Spheres. From Nephilim Press. Rufus Opus. Oh, excuse me. And what was the protection book? Protection and Reversal Magic by Jason Miller. I have an odd question, but don't want to frighten the chat or make you feel uneasy on me and my fat fingies. Well, I don't think I'll feel uneasy or frighten me or anything like that. But yeah, sure. If you have a question, feel free to ask. Nephilim, the Giants? Yes, that's the name of the publishing company, Nephilim Press. There's also things like Ouroboros Press. You know, Ouroboros, the snake. That is this right here. This is from Ouroboros Press. Ouroboros Press. This is Hermetica, a real Hermetic text, not some Kabbalion nonsense. There's also Ibis Press with the bird Ibis. So that's the Egyptian Ibis, or Ibis, however you want to say it. I say Ibis. There's Aeon Sophia. So Sophia for wisdom, Aeon for Aeon, you know, the Greek time. Well, they're also spirits, but the Greek timekeeping thing, Aeon Sophia. I have several Aeon Sophia books. Aeon Sophia. Yeah, a bunch of occult publishers use like occult terms or whatever in their names. Trying to think. Primal Craft, but they don't have a symbol. It just says Primal Craft. There's Primal Craft. Scarlet Imprint. There's a lot. Anathema Press. Black Letter Press. Fulgur Limited. Three Hands Press. There's a bunch. What's the demonic version of the seven spheres? I don't know. I don't know of any demonic version of the seven spheres. The closest I can think of is probably something found in Asenath. I always get her name wrong. Asenath Mason. Some of her stuff. I know she does a lot of clip-off stuff, and the closest thing to the chain of manifestation would be Kabbalah. And the opposite of the Kabbalah is the Clipoth. So maybe some of her work might be a demonic version of the seven spheres. You might be able to formulate your own version or your own demonic version of the seven spheres if you're knowledgeable and you're able to formulate the correspondences. Thank you for opening your gates of knowledge. Of course, Asenath Mason is a baddie. I love her little workings. Yes, I'm very familiar with her workings, with her work, not her workings, her work. I've never hired her for anything, so, but her work, yes, I'm very familiar with her work. Like a grain millstone. What you mean? I mean, I know what a grain millstone is, but what do you mean? Thank you so much for your knowledge. You're welcome. You're welcome. That's why I do it. That's why I do it. So people can have a proper introduction to occultism and formulate their own path. Because contrary to popular belief, I don't force my beliefs on anybody. I don't force my view on anybody. I show you how to find it yourself, and then you're free to formulate your own or follow whatever path you want. You're free to formulate your own. Just like I told Falsey, I think it was, who asked about the demonic versions. You can make your own version. A lot of modern day occultism is what is known as UPG, or unverified personal gnosis. It doesn't mean that it's not legit, because all of Mark Allen Smith's stuff is UPG until it becomes VPG. So that was the second part to my post above it. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back up. I have an odd question, but don't want to frighten the chat or make you feel uneasy. Me and my fat fingies. All right. So, maybe the chat, maybe TikTok filtered it out because there's nothing between like a grain millstone and me and my fat fingies from you, Marionettle. I'm sorry. If you wouldn't mind repeating it. And I'll probably be in here for like another 11 minutes. My phone's at 22% and I haven't eaten lunch. It's 2:19. So 2:30 I'll get off. I want to go get some food from Jersey Mike's. I want a sub. So, or maybe a chicken cheesesteak. Nah, a sub. I'll get a sub. Odd, I see it on mine. Yeah, they must have filtered it because it's not here on mine. But if you don't mind reposting, I'll be happy to answer anything you have to ask. Do you know any books about Celtic deities? Celtic Magic by DJ Conway. The Dolomite Arc by John Michael Greer, but that's more for Druidry, but that's Celtic. Celtics. No, just those two. The Celts. The Saxon Barons. No, I can't think of anything else. Well, no, that's English Elizabethan. No, I don't got nothing. I'm sorry. Just those two. I'm sure I have some in my drive. I don't have any physical books. It's all Western stuff and some witchcraft. But yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Why? Like this? I guess it's because my white shirt. I can't like see, like my white shirt is like on the question, so I have to like bend down to see them. It's so weird. There we go. Is it possible to summon a succubus? Sure. But why? Why would you? But sure. Yeah, it was less about the information presented, more about how he acted. Who are we talking about? Oh, I've heard some bad stuff about Mark Allen Smith in those books. Oh my, like what? I like Mark Allen Smith. Would you? Oh, well, you answered. It's about people not liking calling upon Lucifer and Michael. But it was less about and more about how he acted. Oh, okay. So it's more about how he presented himself and the information. Okay. Yeah, because I don't have an issue with his work. And most of the grimoire traditionalists, maguses that I know that have worked with his work don't have an issue with his work. So thanks anyway. You're welcome. But still, check out Celtic Magic by DJ Conway and the Dolomite Arc. The Dolomite Arc is going to cost you some money, though, because that's a complete course in druidry or druidism. They're both valid, so depends on what part of the world you're in. And that takes 18 years, so it's going to be quite expensive. Why shouldn't I summon a succubus? Well, why would you want to summon a like a female sex demon? Like, are you trying to force a woman to not have sex or to have painful sex or something like that until she has sex with you or something like that? Or are you trying to curse someone? Because if you're thinking that you're going to have sex with a succubus, that's not real. You're some dark goth new age nonsense. That's not real. Hold up. May have spoke out of turn and got him confused with a different author. Oh, okay. That was the only thing bad-wise I heard from him. The results were quick for me while working his book. Did it go through this time? No. Marionetto, no. No, I mean, are you using like a weird word, like a bad word or something like that? Because does anybody else see anything from Marionetto? They asked, I don't know if it's a boy or girl. They asked, did it go through this time? Does anybody see what they were saying? If so, maybe somebody can figure out a way to reword it and copy and paste. Maybe there's a word or two in there that, okay, nope, yeah. So no one else, I'm sorry, Marionetto. I don't know if there's a connection issue or maybe TikTok is filtering what you're saying, but yeah, no. So no one else seems to see it, and I don't see it either. So I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I don't set any filters. I let people say whatever they want and make a fool of themselves before either my mods block or ban them or I do, but that's rare. I usually let people say whatever they want. So I don't have any filters on mine, but I can't speak for TikTok as a whole. They might have filters. There's no bad words in it. Are there any like controversial words like racism or Jeffrey Epstein or is there anything that the algorithm wouldn't want to hear? Like any, I mean, I think you might have to get into your politics mind for this, but like, are there any words that might like offend or anything like that? I don't know. It's not coming through. TikTok is weird. It is weird. Very weird. But oh, also guys, I posted a new video today. Go show it some love if you haven't already liked it. Show it some love. I need it because I haven't posted in like 3 weeks. So because I was on vacation last week and then I was doing the workings for the new job that I ended up getting. So I really didn't focus on videos. I was doing magic. And it worked. So the word spiritual, maybe. Well, no, because it came through here. So I don't think it's spiritual. I don't know. But we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes left. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to the scrying today because I'm hungry and it's been 2.5 hours. So I got on a little after, I was going to say midnight, a little after noon, mid-noon, midday. Because why is it called afternoon? It should be called after morning. The evening should be afternoon. I prefer midday. I got on a little after midday. And I'm hungry. So we're not going to be doing the scrying. That'll be for the next one, probably tomorrow, since I'm off. I'm not going to work tomorrow. probably tomorrow during the day sometime, I'll hop on and we'll do chapter 6.4, Scrying in Dreams. Because today we did spirits, the sacrifices and the offerings. Is there any workings you'd say everyone should try to practice regularly? Yes. I think everyone should do some sort of a daily ritual to make some sort of a contact to God or your ancestors or the angels or the land spirits or your patron deities or your holy something. Whatever you work with on a regular basis or whatever you believe in, yes, there should be some sort of a devotional ritual daily. It can be something as simple as like just reciting an invocation and then meditating on the image of the being or their sigil, or it could be reciting orisons or psalms, or it could be singing a song. It could be making a meal for them and leaving it for them and letting them know it's for them. Like you consciously state, this meal is for you, blah, blah, blah. And you light some candles and some incense, stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to give anybody a specific ritual because then that would be pushing my, what I do on to people, but you should be doing some sort of a devotional, every day, to whatever it is that you believe in or whatever it is that you work with. So for me, it's every day. It's my ancestors first, then my holy guardian angel, then the spheres through the Orphic hymns, then God. And I'm going to be adding in the elements and the fixed stars. But that's how I do it. But that's because those are the spirits that I work with. If you only work with demons, then feel free to, instead of, your ancestors, and it could be, this demon and then that demon, or just whatever. But yes, there should be something done every single day. I also think people should do something that sort of puts them in line with shifting energies and esoteric energies and things like that. So something like the adjuration of Metatron, which is a cleansing as well as an equilibrium thing. The greater calling of the sevenths, the calling and the greater calling of the sevenths. The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, although that'll probably be the one you do the longest because it takes so long to see any subtle changes from that. Even things like the star ruby. I mean, even though I know I'm getting into thelema, and I always say thelema is a minority, even like things like the star ruby or the star sapphire, which is an invoking and a banishing ritual, can be used to daily to get yourself in line with, sensing shifting energies and being able to feel energy and things like that. So those are some things that I think people should do every day, but at least a devotional every single day. The LBRP, that's one of them. Yes, you can start to do the LBRP. With the adjuration of Metatron, is there any changes it brings over time like the LBRP is? Yes, it is designed to help you notice subtle shifts and things like that. Yes. I hope it went through that time. No, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you could be saying. I'm sorry. But no, I don't see anything. If you can reword it within the next minute, I'll be happy to answer it, but no. And I'm not lying. I mean, other people can't see it either. So, let me put this back. I'm sorry, Marionette. You could do this way. You can, on my most recent video, go watch that, comment, leave a comment on that video, and hopefully, it'll go through that way. And then I'll see the comment, and then I can answer in a comment, or maybe answer in another video, because I need to get back on the making content thing. I took almost a month off of making content, so. Cool, yeah, I've been using the adjuration more and more and feeling more shifts and such. Good. I love it when people are seeing results. That's how you know. I can tell you anything under the sun, but you won't know that it's real until you do it, because as always, magic, spirituality, occultism, it's experiential. I can tell you what it does until I'm blue in the face, but you'll just be like, okay, cool, until you see it and feel it and experience it for yourself. So I love that. I love when people do the work. Are you listening, New Agers? Do the work. And the work isn't meditating. It's not just, Michael, I want to talk to you. I'm stepping in my power. Oh, okay. All right. That's not doing the work. that's meditating and mental masturbation. That's all that is. Do the work. Dion Fortune told us in 1946 in her book Applied Magic, Chapter 4, that the world, everyone, would be all the wiser and their lives would be that much better if all they did was study occultism, esotericism, and mysticism. I agree with that 100%. You don't have to be an occultist, but if you can understand occult principles and navigate life with that understanding, things will go a lot better. Can you repeat the name of the Celtic book that you last talked about? I didn't catch it. So there was Celtic Magic by DJ Conway and The Dolomite Arc, or Arch, but Arch, that's not how you pronounce it. It's Arc, but it's Arch. The Dolomite Arch. Or is it the Dolemic Arch? I'm sure if you put the words in, Google will fix it for you. And they'll say, well, did you mean this book? I think it's the Dolomite Arch. My laptop's not on, or else I'd check, and I don't want to leave you guys to go check a book. So, but, all right. So I think that is it. I am going to go get some food. Thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure. I enjoyed the 2.5 hours that I've been on here, all the questions, the conversation, and earlier when we did the reading of the sacrifice and spirit offerings from the Greek Magical Papyri. The next live, which will probably be tomorrow, we will go into the evocation and the lamp scrying and the dreams from the Greek Magical Papyri. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, seek the mysteries.